Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to some more of the obviously horrifying events that are happening in California right now. I'll be honest, I've been glued to this stuff since I first found out about it like 2 days ago. I've been looking at it and like trying to sort of follow it and stuff because it's just mad to me. And I think I saw something recently that there's like an arsonist or there's multiple arsonists and stuff, which maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I don't know. This, again, I've said this many times, isn't something that I can really relate to because the UK doesn't deal with stuff like this. And I know arsonists are a thing, and like when it comes to like extreme weather, especially like in Australia and the US, you'll have people that, like, I guess intentionally or maybe unintentionally cause fires that can lead to stuff like this. But the fact that there's people doing that, honestly, I mean, there's no real words you can really use to describe people like that, right? Like, you've got to be the lowest of the low. But what sort of sentences would they get? I assume they would get like just sentence. I guess an arsonist sentence, I don't know why I struggle to say that so much. An arsonist sentence would be equivalent to, especially if it leads to death, murder charges or multiple murder charges, right? At least I hope that is the case, because you would hope that someone like this would get the brunt of the sentencing possible. But yeah, it's crazy. It is obviously horrifying, and the fact that it's still going on for 2 days straight, and I feel like it's going to go on for a lot longer than this, to be honest. From what I've seen from like previous wildfires, I feel like they can last a lot longer. But if you're obviously someone affected by this, I'm praying for you. Or you know people affected by this. It's just such an insane situation. And the thing is, like, usually with stuff like this, I would be like, just get out of there. Like, why are you staying? Just get out. But I do understand people maybe staying back to try and protect their homes, to set it up for the best, like to try and set it up for the best possible chance of it making it out without being destroyed, being burnt down. So there's maybe situations where people who are trying to do that lose their lives. I'm assuming that's where a lot of the loss of lives are coming from, to be honest. People protecting their homes, or I mean, yeah, I assume it is just that, to be honest. I mean, I couldn't really imagine other stuff, unless maybe you're driving, trying to escape, and then you just get trapped. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But yeah, it's one of those things that's just crazy to think of, and yeah, it's constantly changing. I keep saying this for these videos, but I'm recording this at 11:40 UK time, so again, it may be a little bit sort of outdated. This video is also from like 2-3 hours ago, so yeah, I don't know if it's as up to date as possible, but yeah, we're going to check this out and see an update and see what's been going on in the last 24 hours.
Hello there, I'm Tig Enright. We're starting in the United States, where at least 10 people have been killed in the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. That death toll having been revised upwards just over an hour ago. Around 180,000 people have been ordered to leave their homes. Many neighborhoods have been left unrecognizable. Residents have described the firestorm as apocalyptic. Officials say that thousands of homes and other structures...
Oh, holy shit. This is more than just a neighborhood. This seems like it's entire towns and stuff. Like, it's mad, right? Like, hurricanes and tornadoes will cause so much damage, and it will look sort of recognizable to this, other than like the fact that the trees are still... I don't know how the trees are standing, by the way, but they've been burnt. I'm confused by that. Like, in hurricanes, obviously, they're just ripped to shreds. But the trees are standing, obviously, just burnt to crisp. But the houses are just absolutely just gone. And there's not one standing. I think there's maybe a house here that looks like it's somewhat standing. But mate, how is this even possible?
Have been damaged or destroyed. AccuWeather estimates the damage is expected to be worth at least $135 billion. It could go as high as $150 billion.
Mate, that's GDPs of certain countries. That's not... I mean, what's the... Yeah, it definitely is a GDP of like very small countries.
The National Guard has been deployed.
I'm trying to think, what is the GDP of UK? The UK... Well, let's just see. UK... not GDP. Yeah, it is GDP. 3.34 trillion. So 150 of 3.4. That's like what? That's a good percentage of even the UK's overall GDP. Fucking hell.
Mid-reports.
How do you recover from this, man?
Of looting. The biggest fires have been burning. Amid reports of looting. The biggest fires have been burning into a third night. Fierce winds have eased, giving firefighters some respite. Police say they believe one of the blazes in the west of the city was started deliberately. They're treating it as a crime scene. A suspect is in custody and will be questioned.
More fucking
Our
idiot.
North America correspondent David Willis.
What a stupid human.
Forgive me. We're going to go across live now or hear the latest from our correspondent, Helena Humphrey.
I watched this house burn down live on the news. Yeah, this was a beautiful home. Had a lot of good times here.
It's hard to put into words the level of devastation here, but the LA County Sheriff put it bluntly. In some areas, he said, it looks like a bomb had been dropped.
Literally.
So far, land...
That is so true, man. This is absolutely obscene, mate. I just can't understand. I mean, I think it's to do with how dry the land gets, right? Like, it gets so damn dry, it's just so easy to light stuff, I assume. But wow.
Twice the size of Manhattan lies in ruins, and still, these fires rage out of control.
There is a new fire, unfortunately, in West Hills, pushing into Ventura County, and we are expecting this fire to rapidly spread due to high winds. This is a reminder that this is a very dynamic situation that can change quickly.
On Thursday, a brief lull in those fierce Santa Ana winds allowed aircraft to streak across the skies, dropping water and fire retardant onto the flames. But there's no guarantee that that calm will last, with forecasters warning more winds could fan these infernos even further.
The wind definitely played the biggest part, especially with the flying embers. I mean, I remember seeing embers just shooting over my head like, oh my gosh, that's somebody's house, that's someone's like property, just balls of fire.
Some residents have ventured back, bracing themselves for what they'd find, only to discover their homes reduced to little more than ash. Many told us they're simply too devastated to speak on camera.
Yeah,
these fires don't discriminate, tearing through every kind of neighbourhood, from lavish mansions to humble bungalows. All of them wants a place of safety for someone.
This looks like the apocalypse. It just doesn't feel like the normal things that happen in your life. This is something very unusual.
Yeah.
And for others, the scope of this catastrophe confirms their growing fears about the changing climate.
This is obvious that stuff like this is happening because of global warming, and people that just want to deny it just don't know science and don't know how to research those things. So I think that humans are funny because they think anywhere they move in this world they'll be safe, but the entire world has global warming. I guess pick your disaster and live there. What disaster makes you feel most comfortable? Because that's the world we're living in at this point.
Here in Altadena, fire crews are out battling these hot spots. You can see that many homes, like this one, are still smouldering. And you can see here that this entire neighborhood, this entire community has essentially been wiped out. We've been speaking to families here who have lived in these homes for generations.
I don't think I ever realised how the damage that wildfires would cause. I don't think I've ever actually realistically looked at them to this degree. Because to really see, like, they're literally just putting all these homes to roll, like neighbourhoods. I didn't realise that was really how they would be, but damn. I am really learning about how brutal they can be. They in reality can be the worst type of natural disaster. I mean, all natural disasters are horrible, right? Like, they all have obscene damage. And they're all horrifying in their own, but it's just when it comes to fire, there's something about fire, man. It's just, I feel like it makes you feel like the most helpless. I mean, they probably all do, like hurricanes, tornadoes, all of them, but man, this is something.
And in just a matter of hours, they've lost everything.
And in some of the hardest hit areas, a nighttime curfew is in place, as some try to profit from the chaos. Looting has already led to multiple arrests.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, President Biden has pledged his support for all those affected.
To the families who have been impacted by this disaster, you're living through a nightmare, I know. And I promise you, we're going to help you get through this and eventually recover and rebuild.
But rebuilding is hard to imagine right now, when all these residents can do is wait, hoping and praying that the next gust of wind won't stoke the embers back into an inferno.
Fuck.
Helena Humphrey, BBC News, Los Angeles.
Imagine that being a fear. that they can just set up again and just fucking start lighting ablaze once again. Let me just go, because I think I want to see images.
Hopes on the fact that the
180,000 under LA evacuation orders. God damn.
Winds were due to stay fairly calm for the next few hours before potentially whipping up again over the weekend, which could, of course, make their job all the more difficult, Tyke.
The disaster management effort, these fires are burning into a third night. We've been hearing
some fires still here. Yeah, man, you can definitely see how they could just light up again. There's fires there. Still flipping hell.
Firefighters have been struggling to get access even to water. How has that operation been ramped up?
Well, it's going to ramp up considerably in the next few days. Indeed, it has over the last few hours. And my colleague Ben is behind the camera at the moment. Traveled here from Nevada. He saw a convoy of fire trucks coming in from the state of Nevada, as indeed they are being drafted in from states all around here, Oregon, Arizona, Washington state, and so on. We're talking about mechanisms as well as machinery and mechanisms as well as manpower. 400 additional firefighters have been brought in over the last few hours, and the federal agencies and the White House are saying that whatever is needed here will be provided in order to get these sort of communities back on their feet.
Bro, this shit is horrifying. Let me just... I just want to see a bit more, honestly. It's mad. It's fucking mental. I'm so fucking speechless.
No, my hari mai ma loilale. Welcome to 3 News.
What the fuck was that?
No, my hari mai ma loilale. Welcome to 3 News. The struggle to save Los Angeles from the worst wildfires ever. Your reporter Juliet Speedy has more.
All along Sunset Boulevard. The scenes here show that the mandatory evacuation orders saved hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. And from the air, the scale of the tragedy becomes starker still. Entire neighbourhoods lost to the flames. Under-resourced firefighters working in strong winds around the clock.
We're running out of water. This is the worst one for me.
Running out of how? Like being a firefighter, how could you even like comprehend if you've got no fucking water to fucking stop it? Jesus.
This resident has briefly returned to see the scale of the disaster.
In less than 24 hours, the neighborhood gone, leveled, disappeared.
I was in tears with still choked up with my daughter right now. It's, you know, it's a lot of hard work building a business, and seeing this,
mate,
it's tough.
Fucking hell. I can't even imagine.
You better take pictures of the house right now. For residents daring to go back just to glimpse what they have lost, the emotion is overwhelming. One of the most desirable places to live in America, now a hellscape.
It's like Armageddon. You can see the flames
brutal.
coming up over the houses, and you're just getting out of the driveway, and the smoke and the ash is so thick. I'm surprised all of us got out of there.
A mailbox, but no house to serve. A child's toy and the abandoned remains of an attempt to load up a car. Nature has had the upper hand in the City of Angels. The infamous Santa Ana winds, gale force at times, changing direction with a fiery trail of destruction.
It's extremely difficult to predict. It's extremely difficult to contain.
That's pretty much like a hurricane, except instead of rain, we had fire.
It is safe to say that the Palisades fire is one of the most destructive natural disasters in the history of Los Angeles.
Wow.
A new fire gained traction last night, this time in the Hollywood Hills. The places where you'd come to dream: Sunset, Hollywood Boulevard, Mulholland Drive, named synonymous with the movie industry that is LA's bread and butter. It's many of those who've reached the top whose homes have now burned to the ground. Jamie Lee Curtis was appearing on a TV show in New York.
This is literally where I live, everything. The market I shop in, the schools my kids go to. Friends, many friends now have lost their homes.
Spencer Pratt, a star of the reality TV show The Hills, looked on as the flames approached his house, later filming what was left of his road.
Mate, you gotta feel so helpless, man. You can see it coming and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
And Paris Hilton wrote, "Sitting with my family watching my home burn on live TV is something no one should ever have to experience." There are also hundreds of Kiwis living in LA, like football Ferns captain Ali Riley, who lost her home, posting that her entire neighbourhood is gone and that this rubble was her home and she was there with her parents just days ago, watching the sunset. Eden Wairua Orm lives in Hollywood.
There are a lot of us Kiwis here, and we're all doing a really good job at like keeping out, looking for each other. I've lived in LA for 6 years now, and every year I hear about fires. I've been here when there's been some really rough ones in Malibu, but never at this size, never this many happening at the same time.
The fires are now moving closer to her.
I started to see smoke flying down to the Hollywood ways, which has never happened before from any of those fires. So that was the first moment I was kind of given a clue that it's getting rough. It's getting pretty bad. I packed my evacuation bag and I'm just going to leave it by the front door.
The climate crisis has caused the fires and an insurance crisis. California's insurer of last resort, FAIR, is now the only option for thousands of homeowners, but it faces exposure.
Bro, I wonder if they're going to be able to actually help people at this point.
In Southern California of almost $37 billion, and these fires are expected to cost up to $13 billion. But FAIR has said it only has reserves of $385 million.
Whoa. Jesus Christ, mate. Oh, these fucking insurance companies are honestly such a fucking piss take. Oh, mate. How the fuck are you going to get out of this one?
To pay out claims. To cover that gap, insurance premiums will inevitably skyrocket for everyone.
The insurance companies are going to have a big problem because you're talking about big dollars.
But could it become Trump's problem with his motto, drill baby drill? In the meantime, President Biden says the US government will cover 100% of LA's recovery costs for the next 6 months.
It's going to pay for things like temporary shelters, first responders' salaries, and all necessary measures to protect life and property.
From the Pacific Coast Highway to Malibu, wildfires continue to ravage America's wealthiest.
Oh, this is a mad fucking like pictures of showing how with the befores and afters.
States. Inland Altadena near the Eaton fire, the same. Los Angeles has long feared another earthquake. But this tragedy came from the desert winds and from sparks that ignited an inferno.
Wow. Well, that is absolutely horrifying, and it's just continuing. Oh man, this is absolutely mental. Well, if you're up to date with this, and again, this video will go out like probably 6 hours after the recording was actually done, so a lot can change since then. Let me know the updates. Let me know what your own experiences are if you're someone who's affected by this. But man, I am shocked by this, mate. I can't believe how crazy this looks. Yeah, man, I'm praying for everyone affected, and hopefully you've managed to get away safe. And I mean, if you're one of the fortunate people who lives here and your house is still intact, which I don't know the chances of that, to be fair. Yeah, that'd be obviously an amazing thing, but damn, all these people affected, and it's just going to continue getting worse. I can't even begin to imagine how this is going to end out, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, until next time, peace.